I've got now with me political commentator Xolelwa Kashe-Katiya, who's no stranger to us here on the SABC News Channel, and is with us for more analysis of the ANC NGC. Great to see you, Xolelwa. Thanks very much indeed for popping by on this Tuesday morning. And we were speaking off air that it seems this might be the albatross, the elephant in the room, the dark cloud, whichever analogy you want to use, hanging over the ANC as they really try paint this picture of this gathering going well and of these issues that they're discussing being topical enough. And I wonder to what extent you reckon this is being addressed in as honest and frank a manner as possible.
Thank you, Ayanda, for that question, and thank you for having me. I mean, there's been many attempts to try and steer the conversation towards, policy, which also is policies that have been there before within the ANC, and there doesn't seem to be much of an appetite to really move away from 2022 policy positions. However, this issue of non-payment of staff, it is there because for the kinds of things that the ANC wants to discuss today, which is the leadership crisis, that we also as Indlamiti have found to be a problem in particular within the ANC, because then it intersects with how it leads the state.
Right.
So if now the ANC is having this challenge of non-payment of staff, then it's also a reflection on the type of leadership that exists there. You would not have, staff members coming to disrupt the ANC's very own conference if really there was a demonstration of strong and decisive leadership. And I think today, now that they're going to commissions, hopefully it will be one of the things that they reflect on, because society is watching. The whole nation is becoming increasingly aware of these leadership deficits that you find within the ANC. So it's not just in terms of just how you manage your finances, but also if you look at all the stories of wrongdoing that have been emerging in the recent Madlanga Commission. So all these things are glaring. So they meet here today with these things hanging over, over their heads, and you can't dispel them.
It's so interesting you say that, because there's a quote I wrote down here from Mahlengi, just from this briefing, who says, if the ANC was a corrupt party, we would not be poor. We would have tapped into the resources of the state. But I suppose that misses the point that you're making, that notwithstanding, if you want to be trusted as the leaders of society, charity should begin at home, right? It should be easy to see your leadership capabilities through your addressing of what really has been a long-standing issue. Even in the previous, shall we call it administration, or the previous NEC term, there were issues when Paul Mashatile was the Treasurer General within the ANC of the non-payment of staff. And the sense that I think people from the outside are getting is that they actually don't really know how to address this. This might be the existential threat that they often speak about.
And I think one of the reasons why they get away with this is because there's an endemic challenge of leadership in the country. Even our work, when we did the first Indlamiti scenarios, we found that one of the key driving forces for the nation was the lack of leadership broadly, whether it was in business, government, our own street committees in our churches and so on. But this time around, when we did the new scenarios towards 2035, what we found that the leadership challenge had intensified so much, and it was pointed towards the ANC and how it's managing the state. So it's no longer, we've moved away from scenarios where it's about leadership broadly, it's about the intersection of leadership within the party political system and how it impacts on service delivery within the state. And even though the ANC has had its power reduced, they've still managed to cling onto power through the coalition government, through the GNU. They don't like calling it coalition government, but we do know that we're in the era of coalition governments. But still, that process of clinging onto power, it doesn't seem to be driven by the desire to find ethical leadership from within. It's more about holding on to the resources that the state might have. It might not be for the benefit of the ANC at Lottery House, but certainly for the individuals who make it into the state machinery. It is a benefit.
In just a moment, we'll speak about how this may find resonance in today's commissions, which we know will be focused on this idea of the national democratic revolution and the balance of forces.